Hello people of YouTube and welcome to another Loud House video of my top 3 most mediocre Loud House episodes. But this time we're going to do it from season 3. But first, let me address something to everybody to make sure they get the picture about this. When I say my top 3 mediocre, I mean something that's either boring, uninteresting, or just average, you know, somewhere in between of being good and bad when it's really not good and really not bad at all. So it's mostly those kind of episodes. So I'm kind of actually making some average episodes of this season. And there was a lot I had to go through, but I had to pick my top 3 out this one. And you know what? I think I got some really good choices for most people that can actually see and well hear about.
And this is the thanks I get. This is the thanks I get.
Now, I know I'm going to start this off on my top 3 most mediocre or most average episode of season 3, but this one has to be addressed on top 3. The Loudest Thanksgiving. Okay, so very at first time, I'm a guy who actually likes Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas combined so much together. Because Thanksgiving Day is such a holiday that so gets overlooked. Because, you know, when people are done with Halloween, they just go straight for Christmas and just ignore the fact that Thanksgiving Day is still ahead. So, you know. However, when watching this Thanksgiving Day special in the Loud House, I couldn't help but notice that there was something a bit off-putting with this episode. The fact that Lori and Bobby tried to spend Thanksgiving Day together and they didn't even know how to get so much through it, so they tried to invite each and one of their families over to have Thanksgiving Day together. This, of course, puts so much the parents and the whole side of the family in different peril and decide to make Lori actually stay for the family and not go to Bobby's place, and Bobby not go to Lori's house to actually stay with them instead. As much as I couldn't stand so much the characters, as much as I like Bobby and Lori so much in the episode, and even maybe I give Flip a bit of a pass too, everybody else just behaves selfishly and so like a spoiled brat throughout most of it, because it's like they care for their eldest child and then suddenly they just go completely out of control and overprotective. It's kind of like Clyde's dads. This is not the case to say it's bad. I mean, this is a bad family that actually just goes way overboard. Like, it's telling it like a Romeo and Juliet kind of episode. In fact, that's what Elemental should have been. While I can't hate it because it's a holiday that shouldn't get the shaft every year, and I can't like it just because it's the Loud House and the fact that the parents in each side of the family are so hypocritical and selfish at their times. And that's one of the things I actually hate about so much the Loud House, is when the kids act up so misbehaved, so do the parents. Which isn't so much healthy and not an actual good role model. But if you like the Loud House and you like how they're doing so much the holidays, including Thanksgiving Day, then I think you'll be okay with this one. If not, then you're better off watching some other Thanksgiving Day specials like either Looney Tunes, Casper, or even much better, Garfield. And I still can't resist this bit in the special. Ain't she so adorable? And if you ask me, that looks more like a chicken than a turkey.
And this is the thanks I get. This is the thanks I get.
And take off. Now, this episode, I didn't find so much interest with it, and it kind of beats deja vu when it comes to Link and Loud and magic tricks. But when it comes to Clyde and doing antique stuff, everybody gets so much interest in it, including their friend Zach. He becomes jealous and decides to buy his other friends to come over, but they said they're too much busy with other things. But coincidentally, they show up at Flip's gas station unexpectedly after when they lied to Lincoln and told him the reason why they couldn't want to go to the show because they say magic is boring. And not just that, this episode kind of feels like it's a ripoff of A Fair to Remember. Now that I think about it, why is it the drama that Clyde and Zach are starting to hang out with each other? Aren't they already friends at the point? Why is Zach in Lincoln's friend group? Hell, not even Stella and Flip could even save this episode. I mean, it was nice to actually see them again, but they actually add nothing to the story. And despite how a good character that Stella really is, she's only been in mediocre and bad episodes so far. But unlike so much other episodes, I can at least tell Zach apart from the other group. I think it's because he's a weirdo, but then again, none of Lincoln's friends have more personality, you know? And you can watch several reviews of Lincoln and the Freckle Gang episodes to know where I'm getting at with this one. And it's kind of hard to with this story because there's nothing more I could even say about it. Because if you've seen A Fair to Remember, you've already seen the episode like this. There's no new surprises, no scenes feeling like they were redone. And it all feels like it's a retray of A Fair to Remember. And it's not even trying to hide it. But except one thing, that the only thing I got out of it was Lincoln's obsession with magic. Like, this just came out of nowhere. I guess some people are just adding some random things because they want to try to make him so much of an interesting character, which kind of fails. And even the ending is not good enough for this episode when he tells his friends that why he didn't invite Clyde because he had so much to do with Zach. And when it turns out to a shock to Lincoln that Clyde is not even into magic. And he pretended that he wanted to go so he could be so much of a good supportive friend to Lincoln. And it feels like Lincoln should actually pretend to like Antique so that his friendship with him and Clyde can actually still sail on that ship. And you know, it's like it's kind of telling the kids that it doesn't matter if you want into something that your friend is, you should pretend to like it so you can continue hanging out with each other. But that doesn't necessarily lead to a healthy friendship. So I really don't so much see much interest in the episode. It's just a retrend of affairs to remember. And you're better off watching that than you are watching with this one. This will kind of bore you and it just feels so uninteresting.
What you say?
No, anything but that.
So the number one most boring and mediocre episode, or average episode, that really got to me was, or is, Absent-Minded. Yeah, you can clearly tell why most people actually forgot about this episode, including myself. And the only thing that was so great about the ending was the twist at the end of this episode. The only reason Clyde missed the day is because the whole school was closed. It's a generally good twist that I did not expect to come, and combined with all the hints that they provided throughout this episode, it really played into how well the twist was handled, which is more what I could say for the rest of the episode, because the episode, it was so boring. I got as far to say this is one of the most boring kind of episodes in the entire series, and it feels like the most perfectly average episode that I could think of. I think if this episode comes off as uninteresting, nothing comes off as funny, nothing comes off as frustrating, or even, it's just, I don't know. The execution is just so middle of the road material. I just didn't feel any more emotion toward this one. It's just how the way the episode, like everything is just so obvious, honey, you can't even find the right words to say about it. Most of the entire episode, it's just so repetitive. Nothing new got added. It's just Clyde feeling paranoid that someone's going to discover his secret, so he tries to cover for himself. And Lincoln's just there for no reason. Yes, there's nothing he could have been to the plot. In fact, we need our Clinkin' McCloud episode. Like, seriously, this could have been an episode that just could have been just Clyde and just no Lincoln in the episode. Like, Clyde could have done this for himself, and maybe it would have been a good episode. I appreciate the writers what they want to want character to Clyde, but it's also kind of the issue with the episode. But Clyde's kind of written like a Mary Sue, a perfect kid who doesn't try anything wrong. It seems like Baby Seb's had much more to Clyde because they try to make him seem more of a full character, someone who doesn't think he has the responsibility to take care of our younger sibling. But here, now it feels like they threw all Clyde's character traits so that he can become a perfect kid. I really don't see that as very interesting as a character. And believe it or not, on my first view of this episode, I nearly just fell asleep. I don't know if it's because it was nighttime or the fact that I tried to stay awake that I didn't get much sleep. Because every night I try to watch a Loud House episode and then try to watch an actual episode from Cops. Because during my time when I was being the Loud House critic before I ran out of episodes, I had a busy kind of schedule to actually keep up with one Loud House episode each night. So I could prepare myself to actually review it. But if an episode is so boring to the fact that I fell asleep during the first viewing of it, you know you've done something not good. Let me reiterate, there's nothing really wrong with this episode, well, except for maybe what they did with Clyde, and they tried to bring back Clyde's crush on Lori. It was so boring that I failed to care about it, and I appreciate what they actually did with Clyde's character, but I don't think it was handled very well, and it's not the kind of character I find very interesting about him. The twist is actually good, but the whole entire rest of the episode was just so boring for me to even care about. Seriously, if you want a good Clyde McBride episode, you can watch Overnight Success, Baby Steps, Brave the Last Dance, or even more satisfying, Game Boys. And I know most Clinkin' McCloud episodes comes off as boring, uninteresting, mediocre, or just average, as I like to put it nicely, but it is what it is. And this has been my top 3 mediocre or average Loud House episodes from Season 3. And hopefully to see you guys in the next video for Season 4.